Mark, a successful farmer, shares how he managed to grow his cattle and goat numbers at the farm.
So in terms of the newborns, at the moment we're expecting, or we get around 300 a year, and about half and half a male, half a female. That's how it works with the natural breeding.
It is important to keep your workers in their respective wage brackets and use bonus structures to reward them. Mark has a different strategy, and this is how he does it.
All the staff here potentially will have one cow for themselves to take home, if they have to leave or every year. So we want them to be part of the farm, not just work. So things like that we tend to bring in so people can feel part of the environment.
Rise and shine, Value Farm family. Welcome back to another episode of The Farm. If you're new here, you are most welcome. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and also turn your notification bells not to miss out on any episode of The Farm. And of course, if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. You guys are gems. If you really watched the previous video and you're watching this one, I know what you want. You're a real farmer right here. We are still in Nsinjiro, and we're in this farm, an amazing farm, still with Mark, who is going to educate us more, who is going to inspire us more about how we started the farm, how profitable it is, and also finding the market for your animals. So there's so much that you have to wait for in this video. I'm super excited. Let me also first introduce my co-director. Please say something to the people.
Well, hello, my good people all over the world. Here on the continent of Africa, Haiti, throughout the Caribbean, Jamaica. You know, we have a lot of love in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
you know that. And don't be surprised if some of our brothers from Jamaica call you to come get some of these borings behind us here. So yeah, happy to be here. Part 2. We want to talk about some numbers. So Tina's gonna get us started.
Mark, I'm really super excited to have you here. For those who didn't watch the previous episode, please just introduce yourself to our viewers once more.
Okay, hello Value Farm community. My name is Mark Katatumba, and this is Rich Soche Farm. We have 2 sites, one in Mbarara for dairy, and this one in Nsinjiro for beef. So we have beef Boran cattle and beef Boer and Savannah goats.
Wow, amazing. How amazing is that, guys, to have all that in such a farm. So, Mark, I want for you to address some few issues here for our beginner farmers. How should they start such a farm, such an amazing farm? The basics that they need to follow to start a farm.
So you have to have some kind of, albeit simple, structure with a plan of what you want to do, what you're interested in. So in our case, we have Boran, and luckily, it's probably that's what we inherited from the start. We actually started with the Frisian, we can say Holstein, but we transitioned to Boran because the meat was a better product and a better marketable than the Frisian. So we have Boran, and we are introducing Brahman and Wagyu. So those are the different breeds that we are going to include here at Rich Soche Farm. So that's what we began with. So with time, we now have Boran animals, and in terms of the numbers, the group that you're seeing here with me now, they're about 120, and these are weaned bulls. These are all bulls, winners from 9 months to 1.5 years. So we keep them separate because we don't really want them breeding uncontrolled or inbreeding in a way. But on the farm itself, the total number at the moment is 600, and the capacity we are targeting is just under 2,000. So we still have a bit to go, but by 2030 we should be more than there with our numbers.
Wow.
Wow. How much do you think someone can start with? Because that is what people always ask us, that, oh, I have 1 million, I have 2 million. How much do you think someone can start with if you're to advise as a farmer who has been in this business for some time?
So the thing with beef, you really need the land because we don't zero graze or keep these animals in-house because they eat a lot. So you establish how much you can afford in terms of area and with good pastures. And the rule of thumb is about an acre an animal, but I wouldn't necessarily give it as a given, but that's what it is. And then you start that way. So here we target a new born a year. So every cow gives us a new animal every year. So that's a simple arithmetic for you to understand. Then you'll see how long it will take you to grow your numbers. So in terms of the newborns, at the moment we're expecting, or we get around 300 a year, and about half and half a male, half a female. That's how it works with the natural breeding.
Part of this video, the reason we wanted to do a part 2, we understand how you start, how most people should consider starting, but then we wanted to see in terms of just basic numbers, right? Would you say this transition has been a profitable venture for you? Can you give some insight to the fellow future farmers that are finally gonna get off the couch, okay, away from flying their desks to get into the fray? Give them some numbers, give them some figures, particularly with the goats and some with the cows, just to give them a broad stroke understanding whether or not becoming a farmer is a losing proposition or a profitable one.
So in terms of numbers, of course, typically our starting level of goats here are around 300,000 a head. That is what they are at, because they are 50% savanna or 50% boar. So when we start climbing on, we go to the 75%, we're going to get towards the 800,000, and then the higher you go, up to about 2.5 million for a pure breed here. And that's just the market price at the moment. So one of our bucks we bought actually in near Nakasongola up there, and it was 1.5 million. But that's the market price, and that's a 93% breed. So typically, if you imagine, even if you went to say 300,000 as a starting level per goat, and at the moment they're around 500 goats. So there you multiply and you understand what the potential of your farm is. So in terms of the cows, at the moment the market price of the Boran ranges from about 3 million upwards. They are, as I said, they're around 120 here, but in the whole farm they're around 600, and they are different. So heifers are again a different price. A heifer animal is one that is a female that hasn't started breeding, and those go for at least 4 million and above. And then a mature cow is almost around the same. So when you do the numbers, you start to understand how much value the farm has.
Now, I just want to highlight something, guys. Just think about this from a pure mathematical perspective, right? If you are producing about 300 cows per year, and the average price of a bull is between 3 million, right? So now, if we translate that to USD, right? That's what each cow is about $900 USD, give or take, based on where the dollar's falling during the time you find this video. Might be more, might be less. So if once you get to that level, you can clearly see you working your job or your career. I don't care if you have a master's degree, you're a double master, you have a PhD in economics. Answer this one question for yourself, if you want to be honest with yourself. How many of you in Uganda here that have a legitimate career where you're getting paid an honest paycheck that can bring home those numbers while you are calling yourself your own boss? You see, that's the difference between being a farmer, you being an entrepreneur, you being the captain of your destiny, your ship, whatever metaphor you want to use, and still bringing home the theoretical bacon. Okay? So when people think about farmers, when a young man or woman is considering making that career switch, don't let anyone deter you from pursuing your dream. If you want the freedom, if you want to be up here on the mountains, breathing the fresh air, getting away from the toxic air of New York City because of wildfires in Canada, wherever you might be, Africa is waiting. The Caribbean is waiting. The world is waiting for you to actually take your place as a farmer to feed a nation. because this is the work that we do. Most people never get to see the work that we do. That's why we like to highlight hardworking, professional farmers such as yourself. So for that, I want to again start by saying thank you for being a tremendous part of our community. And for the future farmers that are watching these videos, we welcome you to the fray. Don't be afraid. Sometimes it's going to be your uncle or your husband or your cousin that's going to try to hold you back. Why? Because they're afraid of the unknown. But there's no more mystery. Math don't lie. The breeds don't lie, and the mathematics don't lie. So if you can just do basic math, you don't have to start with 10 billion. You don't have to start with 10 million. Start with what you have. You understand? And before you know it, there's a saying, tough times don't last, tough people do, right? So sometimes your economic situation might be very tough right now, but God is on your side. You're doing the Lord's work. So where you start today, financially, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, it won't be the same. But the most important thing is if you never start, you're never gonna see how far you can get.
Wow, that is amazing, Grafton. I know we've really emphasized this so many times, but I think our fellow farmer can also really agree with us on this. And also something that someone may be curious about. We've talked about marketing or getting market for your animals. When you're going to start, most people are interested in starting a farm, but they're worried, where am I going to sell my animals? Where am I going to sell my goats? How do you go about it? How do you find market for your animals?
So we tend to move around. For example, in 2020, we ran an advert in the paper, and we said we put a tender, and people submitted tenders. So we now have a list of people who are buyers, and we keep moving around. We know where the hotspots are in terms of consumption. We go to the abattoirs, we get to know, and we tend to change it. So the people that come to buy, we don't entertain people to come and look at an animal and give you a price. No, the animal is weighed on a scale, the money is established, the animals are taken and money paid for. So it's more systematic and more thorough and easy the way we do it. But we are always looking out, always advertising, but the market is always there. In fact, it's us saying, oh no, you wait now because they are not quite ready. But they are always asking for animals, yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. That's why we say do not just play with social media. You can always market your animals on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Go out there, look for the market. Start from where you are, from your own neighbors, from the nearby butchers, because you can go to your village, then you start from them, you supply to them. You talk to them that you have the animals at the farm, and they definitely come and check them out. So that is how you can begin. And I think, Mark, you can agree with me on that, on finding market with the people around you first, isn't it?
Yes.
The truth is, just to dovetail on what my friend Mark just said and my wonderful business partner Tina just reiterated, the truth of the matter, guys, when you have the stock, the product, the market will inevitably find you. Now, you don't want to sit on your laurels. You don't want to sit on your hands and just say, you know what? It's just going to come to me. No. You want to be proactive, but while you are being proactive about finding the market, even before you start, you should be looking for your market. You should be advocating to people in your church, to people in your neighborhood, to people you went to school with, to make sure that they understand, you know what? Nowadays with emails, you can just send an email to your friends list. Let them know that you've actually decided to join the ranks of the crusaders, okay, to abolish food insecurity across the globe, right? And then if they think about getting meat, if they're thinking about buying breed quality animals for genetic enhancement, they should think of you, right? So with the advert of both emails, social media, finding the market is not a problem. Your main responsibility is to make sure you start out the right way. You get the right genetics from day zero. Because the worst thing you could do is you try to save a penny here, a shilling there, and then you go cheap And in the end, you realize, oh my gosh, I should have spent that extra 400,000 shillings or that extra $100 if you have it, right? And you would have had a much better genetic match to start out your line versus going with an inferior line, right? The fact that these goats are already 50-50, you already have a leg up. You have a 6-month head start on somebody that's going to start with the East African goats for genetics, right? Because those goats are going to take at least 18 to 24 months to get to the age that you can breed them. At least with the quality we have here, at this farm, even the ones that are at 50%, half the time's already been put in. True. Even the one that you will get that will be 75%, 3/4 of that time has already been put in for you. So you can see the value in that, and the best thing you could do for yourself, make sure when you start, invest in the proper genetics at the gate. Don't worry about starting with 100 goats. Don't worry about starting with 50 cows. Start out with the one good bull, with the one great buck. And then as you collect your money, you'll continue to accumulate from reputable breeders such as Mark, such as people at Value Farm, some of the other fellow farmers that we work with, our friend Kenneth, our friend Richard from Ngudu Farm, and of course reputable breeders in your area.
Yeah.
People that you can actually show up, ask for the book, and all the info is up to date.
Yeah. You know, we're in the land where we have the traditional ankole. Mark, what do you think about the traditional ankole cows?
Yeah, so those are okay. It's a matter of choice. They tend to be more a cultural issue and something for in terms of the aesthetics of the animal with the long horn. So it's okay. The difference is here as a business, you want something that will grow to weight and fast. Yeah, so the ankole also grows to weight, but it might take a little longer. So as long as you understand that and you're able to accommodate it, then it's okay. So, but with the other breeds, we want things especially that go to market fast, grow fast, and to the right weight, and they are off. Yeah, so that's really the difference. So the Boran grows to higher kilos. So a mature Boran would be 700 kilograms.
Wow.
That is more or less what it is.
So how many?
700 kilograms. That's a mature Boran.
And how long does
it
that
should
take?
reach that within 3 years, a proper Boran. And then we have others like the Brahman, Bonsmara, and Wagyu. So those are the new ones that we are bringing in. But all of them, you know, Bonsmara might be a bit bigger. It might go to 1,000 kilos. And the Brahman may be a bit bigger than the Boran, to 800 kilos. The Wagyu is slightly less, but the meat is a different ball game. So it's all about commercial. Whereas the ankole might also grow to 700 kilos, but it might take you a bit longer. So that's really the difference.
Wow, genetics is key, and what you feel you're comfortable with is what you go for as well. It is your choice, but I had to press this out. And also the last question that I would really pose to you, the challenges that you faced as a farmer. There are farmers out there who are facing challenges, but they're scared to share with other fellow farmers. So let's just be open. Do you face some challenges at the farm?
Yeah, we always do. There's nowhere that would come across, doing something without a challenge. So the size of the farm, it's quite large. You can't stand here and see the boundary. So what you tend to get is, especially during the dry season, we get our neighbors bringing in animals to graze. And because ours are looked after, we dip these animals once a week. So we ensure that all the ticks are erased from them. So the biggest challenge here is the tick-borne disease. So once you get infiltrating animals, they bring ticks and spread ticks. And if you have 600 cows, you can imagine what that means, especially if the disease is spread across them. So you are forever having to manage that process. So every morning here, the team do an inspection of all the cows every morning, identifying the sick ones, treating them, managing them so that they recover. And usually if there's a sick animal here, it usually recovers after a couple of days. So keeping the farm clean is one of the challenges. If you establish that and make sure it happens, then you'd have fought half the challenge of the farm. The others are things like we talked earlier, the staff, help making sure that they understand the vision of the farm and growing with the farm. because all the staff here potentially will have one cow for themselves to take home. Yeah, if they have to leave or every year. So we want them to be part of the farm, not just work. So things like that we tend to bring in so people can feel part of the environment. That's when they take care of things as their own.
That's amazing.
That is really so good. And the security?
So security, yes, that's a good point. So here we have a professional security company. They move around with guns and they do it normally at night. We haven't had a need to use them, but they need to make presence to make sure that the farm is kept secure. So that's something that, again, you shouldn't take for granted. And the other thing also, because the warm weather, it tends to get quite hot. So in instances, the grass can turn brown. So if you have careless neighbors, fire can break out on the farm. So you have to be very careful by putting breaks in. One of the years, maybe around 5 years ago, this farm got burnt. It was all black.
Wow.
Yeah. So it took about 3 months for the rains to come through and the grass to grow again. And that was a difficult operation because we had to move all the 600, 800 animals across the district to another farm. So people had never seen so many animals walk through a road. They thought it was a stampede. But these are sort of things that can happen. So you have to be very careful.
And you should be prepared for them because challenges are everywhere. And you have to really know that they are going to come. And you should be prepared. How are you going to face them? How are you going to overcome these challenges as well? So you have to be prepared and be ready, and also do the needful to do your research very well before you start a farm. Thank you so much, Mark, for everything. We are really amazed with everything that we've seen at the farm. I know our viewers out there really appreciate what we have shown in this episode. And next time, if you want us to come back, and if you're coming to buy here, please let us know as well, so that, we say hello to you as well. We give you a shout out. But where do they find you? Where can they find you in case they want to contact you?
Otherwise, it's SCOCIAL farm at gwkestates.com. And we have a Facebook page, and the rest will follow. But otherwise, that is who we are, SCOCIAL farm.
I just have to say it is an honor to be amongst someone and a team, to be at a farm where we came here, didn't really know what to expect, because we've been to many other farms before where on YouTube, on social media, they look so spectacular, and you get on the ground. There's a saying back home, you should never want to meet your heroes in person, in real life, because 9 out of 10 times your heroes are gonna let you down. In this instance here, you, my friend, you're definitely one of the heroes that didn't disappoint. So I know you're gonna definitely serve as a source of inspiration for many new farmers that are out there. And I just again want to thank you for your time, because we know how busy you are, and thank you for the work that you're doing here, because guys, this region, this farm here, yeah, there might be other farms that have bigger numbers, but you will not find a farm that is better managed and run as is we found here on the ground. So
thank you.
Keep up the good work, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Grafton.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you, guys. So our farmers who have been contacting us from Tanzania, Rwanda,
he's close to you guys.
He's close to you guys. So in case you really need information, you need help, he's right here for you guys. So at least we always tell you guys that we have people who contact us from different regions, but sometimes our farm might be far, but we recommend to you guys people that we know about, people that we trust, people that we visited their farms and we are sure of. So Mark is right here. If you're in Tanzania, it's just behind. Are you seeing the other hills behind us there? That is Tanzania.
We're standing in UG, but the cell service here is either Rwanda if you go to the left, or TZ if you go to the right. So we're right here in the triangle.
Exactly. So guys, we are here to really inspire and also encourage farmers out there to also join us. If you haven't already checked out our social media platforms as well, please go check out our Instagram. It is Value Farm UG, Facebook Value Farm, TikTok is Value Farm. Please go see behind the scenes and also learn something. But we really appreciate you guys. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.